Hello, hello. This is Alicia from Quick and Delish, and today is day 30 of the 33-day self-care is our absolute best defense challenge while we shelter in place. So I wanted to do a cooking video because I did a couple of talking to you videos. And so this one's gonna be really quick. So you've probably already seen the whole like mug cake, mug brownie recipe, and those are pretty cool. But I want to warn you, sometimes they make like 2 or maybe even 3. And so if you have hot baked good in your proximity, it's quite hard to not eat all of it. I've been there, done that. And so I encourage you, if you're going to try something like that, come up with a recipe or use one where if it's just you and you want a sweet and you don't want any leftovers and you don't want to eat a second one right after you eat the first one, I would strongly encourage you just to make one. If you're with another person, make 2 and that's it. It's just really hard to cap it at the one thing that you made when you have something that is warm and delicious, right? Okay, so I've been there, done that. Okay, so I'm going to show you how my thoughts around how I make like the easiest. This is the easiest version, like from a box, like a mix. And I'm going to work on making like a recipe for one, but like it's going to just take so minimal ingredients that it's going to take a little bit to perfect, I think. Maybe there's already a recipe online to make from scratch one single recipe, but I'd like to have some options, you know, like make a brownie kind of one where it has like some chocolate chips in it, because it makes like a really cool kind of melty sauce if you have chocolate chips in it. So this is Trader Joe's brownie mix. So this is the one I'm going to use today, and it has a lot of chocolate chips. I'm not like, I go back and forth, like I kind of like it because it does make a really nice sauce in the brownie, mug brownie. I'm using ramekins, but part of me thinks it's too much, but it's also quite awesome at the same time. So this one's a good choice for sure. I got this 2 weeks ago, and I think I have about 3 portions left. I'm pretty proud of myself for stretching that out. I've only had 1 per day, not every day. And then this is another brand that's hilarious. It's called No Pudge Fudge Brownie. And on the top there, I'm going to show it to you in a second. It says fat free, and then there's this pig, and then a measuring tape around the waistline of the pig, and then it says all natural. It's just really hilarious. It's hilarious. I don't know. But this is also another good one. So this brand, it actually tells you how to make one single serving here, and it's just adding 2 tablespoons. They say non-fat vanilla yogurt, like any kind of yogurt, but I like using Greek yogurt because it has more protein in it. And then I'll just add a little bit of water to thin it out. So this one asks for 2 tablespoons of yogurt for the single, and then I'm going to show you one version, and then I'll tell you another way to modify the version. So what I like to do is so the version I'm going to show you is egg whites. So I got to use these up, and they're handy to have. Like, this is just 100% egg whites, no other added ingredients. And a lot of grocery stores have cartons of just egg whites. Some people like egg beaters because they're yellow and they look like regular eggs, and so psychologically that's helpful. And so egg whites have no cholesterol. Some people are watching that, and then they're very low calorie protein. I actually consider egg whites to be a different protein than eggs. I think it's handy to think about it as 2 separate proteins, because then you have more options. Because we actually don't have a huge list of protein choices. There's just the animals, and then there's the beans, the lentils, and then, you know, there's a little bit of protein in our vegetable friends and whole grains and stuff, but we just really don't have a huge selection of proteins. And we have the protein powders as well. Okay, that was my rant about protein. Okay, so there's 2 choices for the brownie mix. I'm sure you can use this recipe with any brownie mix that you have. And you might already have a brownie mix or cake mix. And I haven't experimented with any cake mixes, so that's my disclosure. Okay, so this is kind of cool. I actually, I kind of like this one, but I'm more likely to make a bigger one because this is a bigger ramekin. So just be mindful about like your portion. Okay. So I'm going to do 2 heaping tablespoons of this brownie mix. I might be able to get 3. I'm actually being really cautious because I want to stretch this out so I can enjoy it, because I kind of don't want to go back to Trader Joe's because I had a stressful experience there. But that was 2 weeks ago. Things have changed since a couple weeks ago. I now know you can't bring your bags into the grocery store, which I didn't know at the time. Okay, so in this, I know you can't see this, but so I'm gonna be a jerk and not measure. I'll measure just for you, special for you. Okay, I'm gonna do 2 tablespoons of egg whites, and I might just add more because I usually tend to just eyeball it. Okay, and then a tablespoon of milk. So you could use water. I'm gonna add a pinch of cinnamon. A pinch from this giant container. I'm kind of a jerk like that too. I'll use giant containers to, you know, season something, and yeah, like my giant container of cumin, like, and then just sprinkle on something, like, I don't know. I should probably measure. Everybody has their challenges. Okay, so in this ramekin, so I didn't oil it, I didn't spray it, and anything, right? Super easy. 2 tablespoons, heaping tablespoons of brownie mix, and then 2 tablespoons of egg whites, and about a tablespoon of milk, or you could use water or some kind of liquid. You could probably just do 3 tablespoons of egg whites actually, and then just call it a day and don't even use the milk. Okay, so it'll look really wet, and it seems to work out fine because I haven't had any issues. And you know, it's not like a super chewy brownie, it's more like a spongy brownie. I mean, this is going in the microwave. Like, you have to have some like you have to reduce your expectations. You know what I mean? Okay, so this is this. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in the microwave for 70 seconds. So I don't know, that's what I found out. My microwave works really well at 70 seconds. 60 seconds was a little under, and then if you do too long, then the top of it gets kind of dry. And so it's maybe, you know, short or long. It's depending on your microwave and how wet you make it. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go out of the frame. Yay, yay. 70 seconds. Sweet. Okay, other things you can add to this. You could add a sprinkling of hemp seeds if you like crunch. You know, add it to the mixture, or just add it on top after it's done. I like getting hemp seeds from Trader Joe's because they're more affordable. Flax seeds could add a little bit of fiber, a little bit of nuttiness. You want to use flax seeds that are ground because humans do not digest whole flax seeds. They will leave our bodies in whole, intact. And that's what cows do when they eat seeds. They're planting seeds around the world when cows walk around the world. Or grazers in general, not just cows, it's grazers. And some of us used to be grazers in our former life, right? Okay, and then chia seeds. You could add chia seeds to the actual brownie mix to add a little bit of crunch. Some people like crunch or texture in your brownie, right? And you know, nuts might be good too. Just be careful with how hot the nuts get after you heat them up. You could also put some frozen fruit in there. and that would be nice. Some frozen raspberries. You might want to actually thaw or defrost the berries before adding them in there, because you're only cooking the mug brownie for a minute. I'll be right back. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Okay, so it already deflated because I let it sit for a minute. Can you see this? This is smoky. It smells like cinnamon and chocolate. You could put some chili in there. The theme for the month of May is make it happen. Make it happen. Mexican hot chocolate mug cake brownie. Okay, so that's what it looks like, and it's gonna be delicious. And I could see if I could show you. Okay, bear with me here. I'm gonna do something awkward. Okay, so there's all these chocolate chip bits that are melted on the bottom. I hope you can see the melty chocolate bits. And there's some melty chocolate bits on the bottom. It's all depending on how many chocolate bits are in the mix, in the Trader Joe's chocolate brownie mix. And like I had 2 of them that were like super melty in the bottom. So that's kind of fun. Okay, so one version is 2 tablespoons of egg whites to 2 heaping tablespoons of some sort of brownie mix, and then a tablespoon of water, or try just 3 tablespoons of egg white, whatever. I think 1 whole egg might be too much. But you could try 1 whole egg, but it might taste eggy. That's what I'm thinking about. If you used maybe 2/3 of the egg, of a whole egg, beaten up with a tiny bit of water, that might work too. We're just looking for some moisture that has some protein in it, and that's it. And then it'll work and make a hot brownie, which is super awesome to have something hot, or hot dessert. Like hot food, like just freshly made, is just the best. I mean, salads are fun too, but you know what I mean? Sometimes like the temperature thing just hits the spot. Okay, so yogurt. So the other version is use the brownie mix, 2 heaping tablespoons. Sometimes you might use 3 heaping tablespoons for your brownie mix because you're like, I'm just gonna have a bigger brownie. And that's totally cool. The size of your brownie is your choice. Just be careful of what you add to it, right? Okay, so if you use the yogurt instead of egg whites, do the 2 to 3 tablespoons of heaping, 2 to 3 heaping tablespoons of brownie mix with 2 tablespoons of Greek yogurt or Icelandic yogurt. Siggy's is Icelandic. Now there's a bunch of different countries that make their own high protein yogurt. Go for them, like good for them. I'm so happy because high protein yogurt is just very helpful. You might have to add some liquid because Greek yogurts or Icelandic yogurt is super thick. So you might need to add some liquid and then stir that up. So 2 tablespoons of Greek yogurt with maybe like almost a tablespoon of water. Mix that up with the brownie mix and you're good to go. See what you like the texture wise. I mean, you're just making one at a time. So if you don't like the texture, just keep experimenting until you get the texture right. You're making a brownie in a mug or a ramekin in a microwave. You have to have like a certain level of expectations, right? It's not going to be like it would be if it was baked in the oven because you don't get that top crust. If I overcooked it in the microwave, then it got like a crust, but it was undesirable top crust. We want a desirable top crust, and that's when we bake it in the oven. So it's a little bit more of a spongy kind of brownie. Other ideas to add, you could add some PB2 to add peanut butter. Chocolate peanut butter go really good together. You could add some cinnamon. I added cinnamon to mine. You can make your own brownie mix, right? And use one of my favorite cocoa powders, like one of my favorite, like near and dear to my heart is Valrhona. It's from Venezuela. I think you're supposed to say Venezuela. This cocoa powder is super rich and chocolatey. Some cocoa powders are mildly chocolatey, and then I feel like I need to add 2 to 3 times more cocoa powder. And so I prefer to buy high quality ingredients with full flavor, robust flavor, right? Like flavor that like punches you in the face and you're like, yeah, that's awesome. That's what I'm going for in life. Flavor that punches you in the face. Okay, I'm gonna eat my brownie. And so we finished off April. It flew by so quickly. And now we're gonna start May tomorrow, and we have 3 more days of this 33-day self-care is our best defense challenge. And the reason why I wanted to encourage you, so dieting doesn't work because it's all about restriction, feast or famine, right? Like, I can't have this, I can't have that, that's not gonna work in my diet, whatever. And then like friends and family might be like, hey, why don't you have some of this? I made this homemade yummy yum. And then you're all like, I can't have, and that sucks. So that's why dieting doesn't work. So you need to build in having sweets, having foods that you enjoy, that in a way that doesn't mess with you. So you build it in over your week, right? So you choose, like when you go to a restaurant, you're not gonna have dessert every time, right? But like, when do you have dessert? What's the frequency? How do you have it? Do you share it with another person? Like if you go out to a restaurant and you eat by yourself, maybe you don't order dessert, right? You like create rules that you're on board with, that you created and dictate for yourself about the frequency of how often you want to have a dessert or whatever treat or whatever, you know? You gotta throw the monster inside a bone. Everybody has a monster inside. So when you get stressed, what happens? When, like food is there, what happens? Like, you gotta throw yourself a bone and enjoy what you can. And like none of this like extreme eating situation, because that is just gonna build unsustainable habits. And that is part of the struggle. So the struggle is no fun, right? Part of life, we have to honor that there is struggle, right? You have to face it. There is struggle. Like every day there could be a challenge, right? But it's not like, oh man, this is terrible. It's just part of life, right? Shelter in place, right? We can perceive this as terrible. Yes, other people are having a terrible time while some of us are hunkering down and being extremely patient. Mother Nature has asked us to be extremely patient and to like figure out how to be better, how to do better and be better in our lives and culturally. And so let's think about that. So figure out how often you want to have the things that you consider treats. And under like some circumstances, like you shouldn't have a lot of whatever, because that it's it's a sugary thing or whatever the thing is. It doesn't matter. Sometimes it's just bread, the existence of bread, right? Some of you like to bake. So how often do you bake? And then like what happens to the product that you bake? You have it, enjoy it, a portion of it that works for you, and then you freeze the rest of it if you can't give it away, right? During sheltering in place, you can't give away your food because nobody wants it. It's kind of rude to like offer like, oh, I made this banana bread, and people are like, no, I don't want your stuff because that's a risk for contamination, right? We want to keep our friends. All right, so that's a little lot about my ramble. Okay, so I hope you took away a couple cool tips from this talk, and I will see you tomorrow, May 1st. It's going to be great. Until next time, let's quick and delish. Let's eat quick and delish. Enjoy. I'm gonna eat the brownie before it cools. Bye.